Well, I'm a little late to the intro for this video, but not too late. This is part 2 of the MaxiGrow versus the MaxiBloom powdered hydroponic nutrients. In part 1, we grew lettuce doing the exact same experiment. If you're interested in seeing that video, click the link up here or at the end of the video. In part 2 here, we're growing pepper plants, basically just looking at the fruiting aspect of this. And these are a jalapeno type pepper without the heat. Well, I hope so anyways, because I'd like to eat them. So right now I am growing this under a MarsHydro FCE 3000 strip light. It's a pretty nice light. The LEDs on these lights here, the middle part here has a space, and then they gradually increase the amount of LEDs going out towards the edges, and what that does is give you a much more even spread without a hot spot in the middle. Actually very good for doing experiments like this to make sure the lighting is very even. And I've actually used my par meter to make sure that the plant tops are all getting the same amount of light so that one doesn't have an advantage over the other. During this whole grow here, I'm going to be doing it Kratky style, so no aeration. I would like to do aeration just to make them grow a little bit quicker, but for the sake of just simplicity, I'm doing it this way. And what we're going to do now, actually, since these have been growing for a while, I don't want these to grow very big in these pots. These are only 1 gallon pots, and I want to cut down on the amount of nutrient change outs I have to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to top each one of these. So we're going to go ahead and go on to the next part of this video here after I've topped these and after they've grown a little bit. Okay, it has been 1 month since the last segment of this video, and I've since topped each one of these plants and pruned them. I pruned out the bottom third of the leaves, did that today actually. A month ago, you can see where I actually topped them. There's the cut point, and you can see all these branches that started growing from the bottom up, so they're becoming more bushy. That's exactly what I wanted. Shorter and bushier plants for these small containers. Right off the bat, you can see that the ones grown in the MaxiGrow are actually quite a bit bigger than the ones grown in the MaxiBloom. These actually look pretty sad. So what is that going to translate to, though? Sometimes when you give plants too much nitrogen, like pepper plants, they'll actually drop their flowers or buds, and then you'll get overall less pepper production. So to really answer that question, that's what this little experiment is about, is the MaxiGrow plants here, are they going to produce more fruit in the end versus the MaxiGrow? Right now I'm not really seeing that because I'm not seeing any flower drop or bud drop yet, and there's quite a bit of flowers and buds growing on this plant. I actually just knocked one off, I think. You can see there's quite a bit growing here, a lot of buds, and I don't really see any more buds per node with the ones grown in the MaxiBloom from start to finish so far. So what is this going to translate to in the end? So we're going to answer that when we come back in this video. Well, we are about a week into November, and I started this experiment back in beginning of July from seed. And the reason why this took so long is because I was letting these plants grow out as much as they could and produce as much peppers as they would. And I also wanted to make sure that I would have a mix of different kinds of peppers here. And by that, what I mean is a mix of ones that were ripened, so these red ones, and a mix of the green, because I wanted to taste both of them. But mainly what I wanted to do is let these peppers get viable seeds. So I wanted to make sure that they would ripen up, and the seeds inside I can actually replant for the next experiment, which is actually going to be taking the MaxiGrow in all of the containers, putting it in all of them, and I'm going to switch 2 containers over to the MaxiBloom when they start to flower and see if I can get better production. So it's pretty obvious which one would be the winner here, and that's the MaxiGrow, obviously because it has more nitrogen. The MaxiBloom is not really for growing fruits or vegetables, it's for growing flowers. So it has less nitrogen and more of the other component, which is phosphorus or potassium, I don't remember which. Just having an issue thinking right now. Anyways, so the more nitrogen, the more fruit production, vegetable production you're going to get, because those need nitrogen to grow. Flowers don't necessarily need a lot of nitrogen, they need the other stuff, which I'll just post up on the screen here because I can't think straight right now. It's been a long day. Anyways, so what we're going to do now is we're going to pick these and just kind of count them up, and then I'll taste them and give my final thoughts. All right, here's the results, and I think the answer here is pretty clear which one actually grew more peppers. The 2 plants grown in the MaxiGrow grew 32 peppers, and the 2 plants combined in the MaxiBloom grew 9 total peppers. So it was pretty obvious from about halfway through this experiment which one was actually going to be growing more, because the plants are just growing so much better just using this. versus just using that. So I also want to remind people who are probably skipping through the video here, if they're just seeing this part, this is one part of a few experiments, including these two different types of nutrients. So there's going to be another video, as I said, coming up where I'm going to be doing something different with these and testing a different aspect of that. So this is not one answer to everything. Anyways, so what I was talking about before, this is what you need more of if you want to grow flowers. This is phosphorus. And you have less of that over here in the MaxiGrow, and more nitrogen, double the nitrogen versus the MaxiBloom. And that's really what gives you more peppers, is having more nitrogen, and well, with pretty much any plant. So I'm gonna go ahead and taste these. Before I do that, I wanted to mention though, the reason why those plants look pretty sad is because I starved them of nutrients. Basically for the past month, what I did is I just gave them tap water. I didn't give them any nutrients whatsoever, none of that. Whatever was maybe left in the solution that was kind of just still sitting in there, they might have had that to grow with, but I've just been giving them tap water, and that's it. Just filling it up about a few ounces at a time, maybe 2 or 3 times per week, basically. So let's go ahead and taste. We'll just taste one of the green ones first here from the MaxiGrow. This is a very unique one here. This almost looks like a bell pepper. What I think actually happened here is the tip of the pepper, which is like this, it got attached or stuck inside of there to the top part, and it just kind of grew and pulled it into that shape. But it's pretty interesting. All right, let's taste, this one's very green. Let's go ahead and taste this one from the MaxiGrow. I mainly just want to see if it's hot at all, because they look exactly like jalapenos, and I'm not really sure how these are even made. If they're hybrids or whatever, I didn't really look into that too much, but yeah, this does not have any heat whatsoever. It's actually somewhat sweet. It actually tastes pretty good. I'm really surprised by that. Let me taste a green one from the MaxiBloom plant. It's about the same. It's kind of hard to tell if there's any difference whatsoever between those. This is obviously a different pepper. It's a little larger, and it could have grown just a little bit differently than the other one, but it's pretty much the same. There's not really any difference that I can make out. So now let's taste one of the red ones. Let me grab one here. This looks like a good one here. So this one's obviously from the MaxiBloom. It definitely has a different taste versus the green. I would say that that's just a little bit, it's like slightly sweeter, but if I was to do like a blindfold test, it'd be kind of hard to tell a difference. And again, not hot. There's no heat whatsoever in these, which is pretty awesome. Let's try one that's probably pretty similar to that from the MaxiGrow plant. Here's one. So that one there, it's about the same. Yeah, it doesn't taste any different than the other one. Yeah, it's pretty much identical. I can't tell the difference. It's kind of weird because when I bite into it, I think it's going to be hot, but it's not at all. But I do get like this kind of like a zing from it, or a zest from it. Maybe that's not the right word, but almost like it's trying to get hot and then it just disappears. Like or maybe it's just anticipation of it. I don't know, but there's definitely something weird about that. Let me taste another bite of this and see if it's the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's got a really nice flavor to it. It's not the same as a regular pepper or a regular bell pepper, or even really a jalapeno for that matter. It's definitely got a really good flavor. It might have something to do with it just being grown for longer than I normally grow these experiments out. But this is the very first time that I've actually grown pepper plants and allowed them to turn red on the plant. That's why this took so long. So it took quite a bit of time to do that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. choose MaxiGrow if you're just going to grow pepper plants. I can't speak for every other plant, but it's pretty much should be the same for any other plant that's growing fruit or vegetable. If you're growing plants with flowers, you might be able to just get away with growing MaxiBloom. It really depends. Mainly the difference is going to be that MaxiGrow is going to grow your plants bigger, more foliage, and this is just going to grow, put more energy into growing flowers and stuff like that. But we're going to test that in the next episode. So subscribe if you're interested, and we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.